Hi guys, I want to share with you some of my finished work using my silk paper with tea bags sunk into it. I just recently gave you a tutorial how I made my silk paper from silk strippings and tea bags, and this is just a follow-up in the response to people inquiring about what can you do with your handmade paper. Well, what I've done here is you can see you can actually take some of your handmade paper and do some stamping. On the background here is more layered up tea bags. Here is literally my stamped handmade paper, which I've used a pair of scissors and cut out the outline of this llama, you name it. I'm slightly off key here, and this is going to be a birthday card on this particular one. We've got this hare, this moon gazing hare here, and a few other stamps that I put. The actual stamping here of the sentiment hasn't turned out to be that brilliant, but I just was using it purely on the concept of playing around. And you can see that you've got all these wonderful silk fibres, you've got the natural colours, you've got the tea bags that have been incorporated, and from there I just want to point out, if you are after some of these stamps, these come from the magazine Creative Stamping in the UK here, and pretty much the llama here is the most current version they have. Let's put those to one side. Now, I've started making my silk paper with stamped tea bags. The first original was just made with silk strippings and plain tea bags, and I wanted to see if you could incorporate some of your stamped ripped tea bags, and here you go. This is just one version, and you can see that some of the areas are still see-through, and I think it lends itself really well to being machined into and cut up. I've then worked on another piece with more ripped up tea bags, but this time I'd stamped all different forms of the alphabet, and you can see it works both ways here. Yet again, interesting. I also went ahead and used some distress ink. I used some vintage photo. So we got this one here. I flipped it over and used some vintage photo to distress it. I'm not too sure if I like the coloration here, but that is just so you can see what the finished result would be like. I also embedded some stamps, some postage stamps inside my silk cocoon, and one way works slightly better than the other, but this is the last of my silk strippings now. And then I've got some silk twist, and I couldn't resist actually using the silk on top of more silk, and that I could sew into, stitch into. It's just really morely to show you the end results. You may like this version slightly better. Yet again, I am not too sure what that's going to be like when we start pulling and ripping the shreds of the fibres. So that's just an idea of what I've been up to since starting playing around with my silk strippings and enhancing it by embedding tea bags in it. And all the stamping here has been done with stays on ink. That way, apart from that vintage photo, the distress ink, that way once you put wet medium on top, theoretically it doesn't bleed. Anyway guys, I will catch up with you soon. Bye bye.